6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The President reiterates that he will allow non-violent, non-hatred, peaceful protests. A circular restricting the calling of officers to government offices. The QR code will be implemented from today. 6 fuel ships to arrive in the island shortly. The Presidential Secretariat to reopen today. All government schools will reopen today. Schools to operate 3 days a week. Southern Province schools to function on all 5 weekdays. A married couple arrested with heroin worth over 16 million rupees. In news overseas, Oak Fire emergency declared as wildfire rages near YN Park. In sports news, Chandimal's 80 put Sri Lanka in command on day 1 of the second test against Pakistan in Galle. The Minister of Power and Energy, Kanchana Wijesekara, says the QR trial system was successful. The trial operation was carried out during the last 3 days at select Sepetco fuels filling stations island-wide. The QR system will be fully operational from today at island-wide fuel stations. Meanwhile, the minister also said another 6 fuel ships are to arrive in the island within the next few days. Accordingly, fuel stocks for another 30 days are available in the country. The Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Councils and Local Government has issued a new circular regarding restricting the calling of officers to government offices. This circular is issued as per the decision made at the meeting of the Cabinet of Ministers held on the 22nd of July 2022. Issued to all secretaries to ministries, chief secretaries of provinces and heads of departments, the circular refers to Public Administration Circular 16/2022I, dated the 26th of June 2022, which is effective until further notice, and the Public Administration Circular 16/2022, dated 17th of June 2022, which is effective for 2 weeks from the 20th of June 2022. It states that although the provisions of Public Administration Circular 16/2022 have been issued to be applicable for 2 weeks, taking into account the period after the completion of the said 2 weeks and the current situation, the provisions of the said circular and Circular 16/2022I should be considered valid till the 24th of July 2022, the date of issue of this circular, and for a period of 1 month from that date. Sri Lanka's besieged presidential office will reopen today. Police said days after anti-government demonstrators were flushed out in a military crackdown. A few days ago, protesters stormed and occupied the colonial-era building earlier this month. Troops armed with batons and automatic weapons cleared the 92-year-old presidential secretariat in pre-dawn raids on Friday. At least 48 people were wounded and 9 arrested in the operation, during which security forces tore down tents set up by protesters outside the complex since April. The office is ready for reopening from Monday, said a police official on Sunday who declined to be named. He told AFP that forensics experts had visited the office to gather evidence of damage by protesters. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. All government schools will reopen today. Schools are to operate 3 days a week. All government schools under the purview of the Southern Provincial Council will function on all 5 days of the week from today, the 25th of July, according to the Education Secretary of the Southern Province. The Ministry of Education said last week that schools will reopen today, the 25th of July, as announced earlier, and that in-person learning in schools will be limited to 3 days a week until further notice. Accordingly, it said that schools will function during normal school hours only on Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, while Wednesdays and Fridays, students should be given learning activities to be done from home or teaching should be carried out online. It further states that the first term of the 2022 school year will be extended until the 7th of September 2022, while the duration of the second and third term will be notified later. A married couple has been arrested by the Mount Lavinia Division Criminal Investigations Unit for the possession of heroin estimated to be worth over 16 million rupees. The suspects aged 35 and 37 were arrested during a raid carried out, and they had been engaged in a racket of packaging heroin into small packets at their residence in Aptidia and distributing the drugs. Police said the arrested male is a labour worker, or rather a labourer, at the Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Municipal Council. Police officers also seized various equipment used to package the heroin and around 41,000 rupees in cash, suspected to have been earned through the drug trade. At the time of the arrest, the suspects had been engaged in the process of making small packets of heroin, the police said. Following the interrogation of the arrested couple, they had revealed that the stock of drugs belonged to a woman by the name of Dilini, who resides in Russia and is said to be the mistress of imprisoned notorious drug trafficker Mervyn Jana.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe reiterates that he will allow non-violent, non-hatred, peaceful protests. The protesters are allocated a place at the Golface premises. There is also another place allocated at the Vihara Mahadevi Park for the protesters. The president made these remarks when he met the foreign diplomats to brief about the country's current situation. The president also said the presidential secretariat and the Prime Minister's office should function to serve the general public. The protesters will not have rights to disturb or harm the government buildings, preventing public service. It should be noted that some violent acts on a political agenda damaged a few government buildings during the last few weeks.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, the Deputy Director General of Health Services, Specialist Dr. Hemant Herath reiterates the importance of getting the first dose as a precautionary measure to address the new Omicron variant. Dr. Herath said many have neglected even the third dose. They should get this vaccine as soon as possible. Those who have taken the third dose should obtain the fourth dose at the designated medical centres island-wide. Dr. Herath warns of dire consequences for those who ignore these instructions. That came to you in Watchlight. In world news headlines, Oak fire emergency declared as wildfire rages near YN Park. Ukraine war, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov seeks Arab world support. Cricket Scotland board resigns over racism report. A state of emergency has been declared in part of California as the largest active wildfire in the U.S. rapidly spreads near YN Park. The Oak fire has quickly grown since starting on Friday, and firefighters have struggled to get the blaze under control. Explosive fire behavior is challenging firefighters, California's fire department said. More than 6,000 people have been evacuated and 10 homes destroyed. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov is to address the Arab League on a visit to Egypt, where it has its headquarters in the capital Cairo. He wants to rally support for Moscow as it counters international anger over the war in Ukraine. Mr. Lavrov held talks in Cairo with his Egyptian counterpart Sameh Shoukry. Egypt has significant ties with Russia, which supplies wheat, weapons, and until the invasion of Ukraine began, a large number of tourists. Cricket Scotland's board has resigned a day ahead of the publication of a review of racism in the sport. It is expected to report findings of institutional racism in the Scottish game. The directors resigned with immediate effect on Sunday morning. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. Oak fire emergency declared as wildfire rages near YN Park. Ukraine war, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov seeks Arab world support. Cricket Scotland board resigns over racism report. That was world news. In development news, the National Chamber of Exporters of Sri Lanka NCE, while sending their well wishes to the newly elected President Ranil Wickremesinghe, by the Parliament also states that the exporter fraternity expects an immediate introduction of a system of reforms for economic recovery under his leadership. It is the utmost duty of the newly elected president to stabilize the socio-economic and political system of the country, which is in a dire state, the chamber affirms.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
In cricket news, so what a day of cricket it has been. Sri Lanka have coasted for much of the day but find themselves 6 wickets down. Pakistan have toiled for much of the day and have leaked 315 runs, but they will not be complaining as they've cut through all the major batting threats. Niroshan Dickwella, however, is unbeaten at the crease on a 43 ball, 42 having been dropped on 24 by Babar Azam, his second drop of the match incidentally. If not for the late salvo, it would have been well and truly Pakistan's day as they picked up the crucial wickets of Dinesh Chandimal and Dhananjay De Silva in the final hour before the end of play. Both were relatively loose dismissals, a running theme across the Lankan innings as many a better had gotten in, only to throw away their wickets. Only Oshada Fernando, who received a ripper from Nawaz, and Kusal Mendes run out at the non-strikers and following a deflected drive can count themselves unlucky. Alongside Dickwella is a debutant Dunit Velalage, the highly rated under-19 skipper. The wicket has been quite good for batting, and if it continues that way, Sri Lanka will want to make the best use of it, extended their innings as much as possible into day 2. Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to bat first. According Sri Lanka were 315 for 6 at the end of the first day's play of the second test against Pakistan in Galle. Today is the second day of the test match.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Bank of Ceylon, Sri Lanka's #1 banking brand, was once again listed among the world's top 1,000 banks listing with a ranking of 800, up 53 places from the previous year, making the BOC the highest ranked Sri Lankan bank in the listings history.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSP U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has requested licensed banks and borrowers to meet and start fresh negotiations on debt moratoria. Licensed banks and borrowers are expected to collaborate in implementing and availing these concessions during these challenging times in the interest of subsiding the stress on individuals and ensuring the sustainability of businesses, which are expected to address the current challenges and support the economic recovery. These concessions are provided on a case-by-case basis, depending on the future repayment capacity of the individuals and the viability of businesses and projects, the CBSL said.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And now for the weather report. The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the western, Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces and in the Nuwara Eliya, Kandy, Gala and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uva and eastern provinces during the afternoon or night. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. This weather report was issued at 5:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be cloudy with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature will be around 29 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 26 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in select spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 27 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index AQI is 19, which shows a fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. That was the weather report. And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The President reiterates that he will allow non-violent, non-hatred, peaceful protests. A circular restricting the calling of officers to government offices. A QR code will be implemented from today. 6 fuel ships to arrive in the island shortly. The Presidential Secretariat to reopen today. All government schools will reopen today, schools to operate 3 days a week. Southern Province schools to function on all 5 weekdays. A married couple arrested with heroin worth over 16 million rupees. In news overseas, Oak Fire emergency declared as wildfire rages near YN Park. In sports news, Chandimal's 80 put Sri Lanka in command on day 1 of the second test against Pakistan in Galle. That concludes this news broadcast. You're with Radio Sri Lanka.